healing happens in the presence of an empathetic witness. And it's like the body keeps the score, trauma stored in our body, but it really doesn't actually come out until we're in relation to another person.
We've looked at hundreds of modalities, and the one thing that we find is the most impactful.
What is it?
Attunement. It's feeling seen. And that unlocks the body's innate capacity to regulate and heal and move.
So the deeper we're in that, the more safe I can feel, because you know that I'm not hiding anything from you. When I'm able to be vulnerable with you, your nervous system starts to relax in co-regulation because you know I'm not hiding anything from you.
And it's so brilliant because it's so simple. Why is it not easy? Yo, what's up everyone, and welcome to this special episode of Stay Grounded with my new friend, Steven Jaggers. So Jaggers is the founder of Somatic Release, which is a certification for practitioners, anyone going through clinical training to learn a somatic breathwork practice and the necessary skills to support people through deeper healing journeys. He is brilliant. I mean, this conversation was so powerful because, I talk a lot about, it's not about the tools. I think we have an obsession as a culture over the tool, the meditation, the breath work, the thing. But when you actually zoom out, all the breath is helping you do is access more of you. And as you access more of you, you have natural skill sets, natural abilities, natural functions of the body that come online that all lead to greater healing capacity and potential. And that's really what we talk about on this week's episode. How do we access and unlock these innate human intelligences inside of our bodies so that we can be more fully realized, so that we can be more fully expressed, so that we can have greater healing potential just by being ourselves? I mean, we went in so many directions, from the different things that Steven has supported people in helping cultivate. Like, what are the meta skills of being a human being? And how do you cultivate those meta skills? How do you access these meta skills? How do you do this work inside of community settings? And ultimately, how do you get better at co-regulating with others to find home within yourself? We received many of our core wounds and traumas and conditionings and belief systems from others. So it makes sense that we're also going to release them alongside others. But the path to doing that can be so confusing and jagged. And that's what I love about this conversation. We bring it back to the simplicity. How do we unlock our innate human capacity to connect with others and ourselves? So I hope you enjoy this conversation. And without further ado, here is my main man, Mr. Steven Jaggers. Enjoy. Bro, welcome.
It's so good to be here.
Dude, I love it. Just the crazy synchronistic line of events that now have us sitting across from each other, talking about stuff that lights us both up.
Yeah, talk about alignment.
The miracle of life. And I've been really noticing just how the more I unravel from the attachments, the constructs, the fear-based programming, and come back into my innate state of being, the more magical, mystical, synchronistic, and connected my life gets. And I'd love to, because one of the things we were talking about before we hit the record button was connecting to human intelligence and connecting to the meta skills that allow us to thrive. And I almost feel like, the way I feel it right now at least, is I feel so connected to that intelligence that life feels simpler and more graceful.
Yeah.
Do you have that same experience or a similar experience?
Yes. There's more intelligence in your body than your mind can ever even fathom. I try to sit with what is the intelligence that's beating my heart? Is it me? What is that intelligence that's repairing my cells, that's digesting my food, that I don't have to think about? What is that? What is the intelligence of my nervous system coming into resonance with yours, right? These are all things that we don't necessarily have to put energy towards, but they're still happening. So how do I learn deeper how to access those. And that's just what I've seen. I mean, we can get into all of the different modalities, study all the different techniques and the technical aspect of it, but what's underneath that really allows us to, in my opinion, it's connection. It's all about connection. Connection to self, connection to others. Life is, through my own filter, what I believe the purpose is connection, is relational. We're relational beings. We're mammals.
Well, there's like a connectivity,
Yeah.
and then there's like a conductivity.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Like that's kind of how I feel it. It's like the more I go into my body and I access this innate intelligence, the vibrancy, the aliveness, the feeling,
aliveness.
right? Like that's like its own cultivation. And then the connectivity
Yeah.
is being able to stay connected to each other and being able to co-regulate with another,
Yeah.
and being able to be in a group. And
It's a compass.
It is.
Yeah, following the aliveness. Like like my favorite thing is when you're in a conversation with somebody and you're just like this and we're bouncing back and forth, and like through each thing that we're saying, we're tossing it back and forth, and it's building this energy and it's becoming more and more alive, and there's more of us that's being excavated and like more of us being expressed. And then by the end of it, we're like, oh my God, it's just, you could feel the charge. We're electrical beings.
Yeah.
You know, through studying all of the different modalities from a Western perspective. I was a neuromuscular therapist for a long time, like looking specifically at the physical body and the nervous system, and helping people, you know, fix their alignment through physical posture. And then you look at the chakra system, it's the same thing as your nervous system. You have nerve bundles, nerve plexi or ganglia at all of those different 7 centers that are controlling the glandular, the skeletal, or the musculoskeletal function, but it's all electrical. We're electrical beings. And so if you're following that, you could call it aliveness, you could call it conductivity. That's been a compass for me in my life. And the more that I tune into that, is what is that thing that's building this, what is this thing that's lighting my own battery up, is the direction that I continuously try to move towards, the people, the places, the ideas, the businesses.
Well, what's interesting, I'm curious to hear your take on this. Like, aliveness, like for me, I was afraid of it for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, and it only, like now, after having done deep somatic work, deep feeling work, deep, you know, the deep inner work, do I now feel like I even feel safe enough to be in my vessel and to then like feel that aliveness and trust it and follow it. And so like, what was your journey to trusting the aliveness? Because like, I remember when I first got started, and like, I remember the first time I kind of broke into my body, it was so uncomfortable. Yeah. And I'd be around certain people and I'd feel a lot of energy, but it was discomfort and it wasn't pleasant. Yeah. But I also knew that fear was the North Star, and whatever I was afraid of saying, whatever I was afraid of doing, that was like the compass in the beginning, which was serving me. Yeah. And so I'm curious, did you have a similar path, and how did you develop a greater level of maybe courage or comfort with holding the aliveness in your body?
So much there, yes. Instead of talking about aliveness, I think for me it was going to the opposite side. Like, what's the polarity of aliveness? To me, it's actually numbness. And that's like the epidemic that I see, is numbness, is almost apathy. You know, they say apathy is like the lowest vibrational state, is that I don't care. It's not that I love you or I hate you, it's like I just don't care. And so from studying like body work specifically, I was fascinated by this idea of what parasitic tension is. Have you ever heard of parasitic tension? So it's a term coined by Ida Rolf. You know who Ida Rolf is? Yeah. So we all have a certain amount of parasitic tension inside of us, and I'll break it down from a physical standpoint, and then because it's applied emotionally, in my opinion, spiritually, mentally as well. So if you have tension in your neck and shoulders, do you have any tension in your neck and shoulders?
Probably.
We all do. It takes nervous system energy to contract a muscle. It takes electricity to contract that muscle. And so if you have a lot of tension in your body in different areas that's always turned on, it's taking energy from your system. Like if I flex my bicep, I'm consciously doing it. It's taking energy to contract that muscle. But if we have muscles that are constantly contracted all the time, that's taking our energy that could be utilized to other things inside of our body, like repairing our, like going to our aliveness, right? Like repairing ourselves, like sleep, like all of the other natural functions that are preparing us to show up in our life to do the thing that we want to do, right? So numbness is actually a very active process. Most people don't realize that it takes more energy to maintain a state of numbness, or it takes more energy from you to push down your aliveness. Because feeling and sensing is your natural state, it's your birthright. When you're a baby, you come into the world, they feel everything. And then we go through layers of conditioning and familial stuff, and maybe religion or society or school, all of these things that are cultivating and like curating us in a way. And then say we go through different trauma, which we could get into like the definition and understanding of trauma, but when we have certain defense systems where we push things down, it's actually taking more energy from us, because feeling and expressing in our aliveness is our natural state. So the same thing happens on a physical level, on a body level. The disconnect that we have from our emotions, which that's a big part of our aliveness. If we're not able to feel inside of ourselves, well, the same disconnect that's happening from our mind to our body is the same disconnect that's happening from me to my neighbor, or to me that's going on the other side of the world. Like I do believe that apathy, and it's fascinating because like we live in this technology world where now for the first time ever we can pull up our phone and we can see what's going on the other side of the world. And our nervous systems are designed to just deal with our immediate reality. Right? There's a quote that it's like, we're living in these ancient bodies with medieval institutions and godlike technology. And only now we've had that sort of recipe. It's fascinating, but we can see what's going on the other side of the world, and inside of us, your body knows that you're intrinsically connected to everything. And so there's a part of us that looks at what's going on the other side of the world and says, okay, is there anything that I can do about that right now? Not necessarily, so that we kind of, we train ourselves to be like, oh, that's not, that's happening over there, it's not happening here.
Yeah.
So that same disconnect that's happening from us to other people is happening inside of us.
Yeah, and I'm curious about that because the nature of disconnect, I find, is in many ways a judgment. Like it's almost that simple. Like, why do I not allow myself to feel? Yeah. It's because I judge how I'm going to be experienced if I feel. And where did I learn that? I learned that in childhood, probably, where I didn't feel safe enough to feel. I was judged, I was condemned, I was told I was wrong, I was scolded, I was put in timeout, I was withheld love from. And so we all have these like programs that are inside of us that are creating disconnection. But ultimately it is judgment. And what I find most powerfully inside of at least my journey and a lot of the community that we serve at Liberate and beyond, like just helping people feel safe.
Yeah.
It kind of just restores the connection. Like the connectivity comes back online, and then when you get a safe imprint of feeling, when you feel once and you're not judged for it, it like restores more aliveness.
Yeah.
And then you feel safe to do it again, but then there's another set of beliefs or another set of programs that show up. Oh my God, I'm feeling all the time now.
Yeah.
And I can't work, or oh my God, like I feel so sensitive. And then there's another set of judgments. And it's like, what I'm finding is just the pure practice of examining my judgments is the practice of coming into more aliveness.
Yeah.
And connection with others has been one of the more potent and profound ways to start reprogramming that at the core.
Yeah, there's a quote from Bessel van der Kolk in Body Keeps the Score that's like, healing happens in the presence of an empathetic witness.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, I've seen that having an empathetic witness, or like they say trauma, the body keeps the score, trauma stored in our body, but it really doesn't actually come out until we're in relation to another person. Like I mean, we've all felt this, like I can feel super enlightened when I'm by myself and I'm not around my family, and I'm like, I have no triggers around me, but as soon as I get in a relationship, all my stuff starts to come up because trauma is stored in us, but it's in relation it's activated in relation. So our wounds come from community or other people, and so our healing comes from other people.
Bingo.
And it's this idea of co-regulation that we're not designed to self-regulate when we're a child. We come out of the womb and we're completely plugged into our parents, and we're feeling everything that's going on inside of them. We're completely sensitive, and so we're co-regulating, and then we go through an individuation process where we start to crawl, and then we get a little bit further and something scary happens, and we come back, right, to safety. And then we can start to walk, and we get a little bit further, and something happens, and we come back. And then we get to driving, or we get to school, and then we come back. And then eventually, if our parents' nervous systems have taught us what safety is and what permission is and how to essentially feel our own body and feel our own emotions and, you know, develop those sort of human intelligence. It's unfortunate because it's like weeded out of this culture in the West. But we're designed, it's much easier to regulate my nervous system with somebody else because we're designed for co-regulation first than it is for self-regulation.
I'm interested in understanding, one, like, how do you guide people to anchor in feelings or a capacity for safety? That's one. And then, like, as you define human intelligence, from that lens, what are some of these meta properties of human intelligence that are intrinsic but unlocked through co-regulation, that's unlocked as we come into right relationship?
Yeah, there's so much there.
I ask big questions.
No, there's so much there, yeah. I'm fascinated by this idea of attunement. That's one of the meta skills that we teach, is attunement. And the simplest way to define attunement is like, can I host you inside of myself?
Wow, that just like dropped me.
Can I host you? We've all heard that term, like, you know, seen and heard, right? You want to be seen and heard. We all want to be seen and heard, but it's actually really not about that. It's not about, because I could look at you and I could see you and I could listen to what you're saying, but beyond everything, you want to be felt. You don't want to be just seen and heard. You want to be felt. You want to know that whatever you're feeling, like, I'm feeling that too. And I have the space inside of me to host that. Like, so there's a little thought experiment right now. I'm actually happening inside of your nervous system right now. Like, you're taking me in with your eyes, your ears, maybe smell, all through here, and like, how deep are you actually letting me in? Like, and I can feel through my nervous system how much you're feeling me. And you want to know that I'm feeling you. It's that you feeling me, feeling you sensation that brings us deeper into the co-regulation, and that's attunement, right? So the deeper we're in that, the more safe I can feel, and the more safe your nervous system feels, because you know that I'm not hiding anything from you. The worst feeling is when we're with somebody and you can feel like there's some stuff over here that you're like, oh, this person, there's something that's not being said. Like, we can feel that. And when I showcase all of myself, when I'm able to be vulnerable with you, when I'm able to show you the different range of my emotion, your nervous system starts to relax in co-regulation because you know I'm not hiding anything from you. Our nervous systems are designed, a lot of people say they're designed for safety, right? And they keep us safe by measuring our environment. Our nervous system's like, when you walk into a room, it's scanning the whole environment for signs of safety and signs of threat, right? And not necessarily nowadays are we like having to deal with threat of like, oh shit, there's a lion over there or something, but we're listening to like threats of, are there people that are incongruent? Are they saying one thing, but their actions are doing something else? There's this congruence within this, and the more that I can see and feel your congruence, the look on your, a sign of someone that has a lot of trauma is that they'll have a look on their face that's different than the thing that they're saying. There's a lack of congruence between the mind and body, right? There's a fragmentation.
Yeah, that's fucking beautiful, man. I'm like inspired right now by the definition of attunement, the ability to host another.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, like, we've collected, I think I was telling you, we've collected hundreds of thousands of data points now on cancer patients going through deep healing journeys. We've looked at, hundreds of modalities, tools, books, podcasts, meditations, everything. And the one thing that we find is the most impactful.
What is it?
Attunement.
Attunement.
It's feeling seen. Like when we create a mapping session, or when we guide someone into an experience, literally it's just creating a space for them to feel felt. And that unlocks the body's innate capacity to regulate and heal and move. And it's so brilliant because it's so simple.
It's so simple.
Why is it not easy?
What comes up for me is it's almost like Gabor Mate's idea that he just did in his recent book, which is The Myth of Normal, that most of our issues that we're experiencing, anxiety, depression, insomnia, suicide, all of these are very normal responses to an abnormal environment. Like, you look at, we're all, from a physical standpoint, you're sitting in a chair for a long time. Your body's not designed for that. So you're going to develop issues in your hips. It's a very normal response to an abnormal environment. The way that we're living is not connected, right? And so these things that we're experiencing, they're not easy because we're not set up in a way. And a big thing for me that I've seen lately is, and this has rang true in my own healing journey, is I was so focused on how do I heal? How do I heal myself, my familial trauma, my ancestral trauma? Like, how do I heal all this stuff? Because my parents were meth addicts. I'm an only child. They were addicted to hard drugs, prescription medications. I was co-regulating to them and so sensitive and picking up on what was going on inside of them. And I knew in my core that something was off, but I didn't know exactly what it was, but I could feel it. But healing is a byproduct of connection. And so it's been a big shift for me to stop focusing on healing.
Yes.
Because healing is something that you're naturally doing.
Yes.
It's like, it's not, and I watch so many people, they focus on their healing journey and subtly they're creating the opposing force that something's wrong with them, that they're broken.
This is, dude, I just want to double click on this for a second because it's so important. Healing is not a function of doing, it's a function of allowing.
It's a function of alignment. It's a function of connection. When I'm connected to my physical body, when I'm occupying myself, healing's happening. It's innate. Like, it's like these trees are growing, right? You don't go to a tree and say, how do you heal more, right? It's that it's the more connected it is, the more connected you are to your emotions, the more connected you are to your heart.
Well, let me ask this then. Okay, why do you feel we are disconnected?
That's such a deep question, dude. I think that I sit with this question. I run this question in my own internal GPT often. I've been playing with that. I'm like, what question am I running right now? Why are we so disconnected? Like, if I look at human history, like on the timeline, we went from these very somatic-based cultures, this tribe mentality of when someone's sick, it's a function of the tribe. It's not of the individual. We used to sing and dance around a fire, and we used to have these natural discharges and cathartic releases in community that was, completely welcomed, and it wasn't looked at as like there's a function that's wrong necessarily with you.
Yeah.
It's let's come together and let's work through it. And then we've swung the pendulum to this very mental-based culture of specialization, and let's look at everything under a microscope, and we have, a knee specialist and a hip specialist and a gastroenterologist in this very fragmented, specified world. We've swung the pendulum to that, which is incredible, but that's the disconnect that's happening, right? We're disconnected to our own biology, your body is of nature. And the same, like I said, the same disconnect that's happening from your mind to your body is the same disconnect that we have from ourselves to nature, from ourselves to other people. We believe that if something is happening over there and it's not happening right here, then it's not happening to me, which causes people to throw toxins, dump poison in a river or a body of water that's hundreds of miles away because it's over there, it's not over here. But eventually that water is going to make up the water that's in the body of your children's children.
Yeah. It's almost like a lack of getting outside of self.
Yeah.
Because we are so, and I think, to me, as I think about it, disconnection is a function of not feeling safe.
Yeah.
If you don't feel safe, you're not going to actually even be connected to anyone outside of you. Yeah. There's going to be a program that's just looking for ways to self-preserve. It's looking for ways to keep yourself alive. It's keeping you on this cycle. Yeah. But that's ultimately what's actually creating more disharmony, more dysregulation, more pain, more suffering. Yeah. And it's this fallacy of the mind. I guess that's the piece I get curious about. Yeah. If disconnection is clearly the root of all illness, if disconnection is the root of anything disharmonious in society, if disconnection is at the root of all trauma, dis-ease, why are we choosing it as a species?
What is your definition of safety? Because I've been sitting with this too, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. And then
what's coming through is just rest, like just at the nervous system level. The parasympathetic, just rest and digest, versus fight or flight. Like, we just break it down there. Like, safety is when I'm just in rest. When I'm just in a natural state of just digest, and digestion can be slow.
Yeah.
There's a slowness. There's a natural state of being.
And you can only digest reality. You can only digest when you're in a parasympathetic state, right?
Like, so there's like and safety is, that's why it's like when I said healing, it's like, I think of healing as just that frequency of allowing, and that frequency of allowing is inherently the frequency of safety.
Yeah.
It's like letting go, allowing, not trying to do.
Yeah.
You just are.
Yeah, we're human beings, not human doers, right? And I think that's part of the thing is we've swung the pendulum to how much are we producing and doing, and there's a lack of beingness, right? And so,
how do you teach beingness? Like, I'm like, I'd love to actually like these meta skills, because like you're speaking to so many of them, and I know because of the work you do, like you have a unique lens on guiding people into embodied states of beingness.
That's a really good question. One of the, it has to be done. I don't know if it has to be done, but it's fascinating to watch this light bulb come on for people in a relational dynamic. So, breath work has been the vehicle in which I've been able to teach these meta skills, but it's not about just breath work. It's about teaching a human how to be with another human while they're kind of going inward, while they're creating space for themselves, while they're taking a space and time to just go inward for themselves and to be in the presence of an empathetic witness. Now, what's fascinating is I almost see more healing happen on the practitioner side, because when you're with another human, we have so much conditioning around, and this is one, I get paid for how much I do. I get paid by the hour and how much I do. And I see this in so many people. They're like, okay, this human's like going through this. Okay, I want to make sure I do a good job. And like, I'm going to use this technique and this technique. And oftentimes it's that the less is more.
Yeah.
But who am I being with this person? It's not about me having the right hands-on technique or how much I throw at them. And I watch this very uncomfortable situation inside of a person when they're holding a session for another person, that they're in themselves wanting to do a good job and basing themselves on how much they're doing to this other person, where they don't find value. And actually, it's so powerful for me to actually just be there with another person without trying to fix them.
It's more effective.
It's more effective.
I might even say, but it's just like the results speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I mean, dude, like I'm telling you, we have hundreds of data points, thousands of data points now. It's like when someone just feels loved, seen, held, not judged.
It's the fix-it mentality, I think.
The mentality is, and that's the mind trying to overcomplicate something that is actually so simple.
Yeah.
And I feel this is like, I mean, I really sit back to like why I'm so grateful we're having this conversation, because like the skills that someone would have to learn to be an advanced practitioner, right? That's one element of learning.
Yeah.
But everybody can learn to be a safe space.
Everyone can. And it's as simple as, say someone's crying in your life, or like, you're with a person and they're crying and they're going through something hard. Most people, they want to run over to this person. They want to be like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But really what they're saying is, no, stop. No, stop. Like, I don't want you to, and it's coming from a well-intentioned place. It's like, I don't want you to feel pain.
Yeah.
But really what I'm saying is, I don't want you to feel. And feeling is equated to aliveness, and the opposite of feeling is numbness, right? The opposite of aliveness is numbness. So really, and it's usually a reflection of they're not comfortable with their own process inside of themselves. And it's a simple switch of like, instead of saying, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, switching to, it's okay to let yourself feel whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to fix you, but I'll be here with you the whole time. I'll be in connection with you.
Let me ask you this. For somebody to get to that state, what must they master? What must they be comfortable with?
Yeah.
What are the meta skills of somebody being in that state?
It's usually a byproduct of your own, it's always a byproduct of your own inner work.
Totally.
It's always a byproduct of, there's another meta skill called range. And it's usually the last one I teach, because range is like, there's alignment. That's the first one I teach. And most people think alignment is just a state of being, but it's actually a skill set, because alignment is a dynamic process, because life is dynamic. There is no such thing as a perfect posture, because there is no such thing as stillness. Alignment is like, I'm moving through life, and how much time when I get thrown off of my alignment does it take me to bounce back? How much time when I'm with this other person, am I not losing myself in this person? Can I be with this other person and also stay deeply connected to myself? When I've been going down a path that's not in my alignment, how long does it take me to course correct? And that's the meta skill of alignment, is minimizing the time in between being out of alignment and coming back in, because it becomes exponential. People spend 10 years out of alignment, living a life that was what their parents wanted or what society wanted from them, and the longer you spend, the more exponential the pain comes, right? It's like driving a car. If your car's out of alignment for a couple months, it's not going to cause a lot of issues, but if it's out of alignment for years, then the pain's going to be exponential. And so how do I bounce back? And most of the time, that's just a deep awareness of self and what's going on. It's occupying. It's occupying yourself. Most of us are living up here. We don't know what's going on, like what's going on in my hips right now.
So it's almost like, okay, so range.
Well, there's alignment. which I look as like the vertical line within you. It's connection to your intention. For me, intention is just, what's the inner tension that's inside of me? What's my driving force? What's my like Like I am the center point between heaven and earth, my spine, and like what's my antenna picking up on? What am I tuned into? How am I occupying that through my body, and how am I staying connected to the earth? It's this vertical line of this is me, and I'm not gonna be thrown off of that. And only from that place then can I actually be in relation. Because a lot of people then go to attunement, and this is where you get like empaths or people that being empathetic or sensitive is an incredible skill set, but it becomes a weakness if you don't know the difference between self and other.
Yes, wow.
And so there's alignment, which is this vertical line inside of yourself. From that place, now I can work on the horizontal line of relational skills, of being in connection and hosting another person. Then I teach holding space, which is now that I'm attuned and I can host and I'm aware of subtle, minute details and energy fluctuation in this person, now can I create a space for someone to take up space? That's what holding space is. It's withholding all my like, oh, this is what I think you need to do, or these are my agendas. It's welcoming your energy from the inside out. It's a welcoming. Can I welcome all of you? Not just the parts that I think I want from you, but can I and then range is like, how big is that space? How much range I have within myself is a byproduct of, have I gone to the depths of sadness within myself? Have I developed a relationship with my own grief? Have I developed a relationship to my like power and anger? And that's on that spectrum of intensity. How much can I hold? And that range it's always the hardest one. Well, I'd say alignment is actually, they're all
equally hard
in their own unique way.
They're stretching different muscles that normally don't get stretched in society.
Exactly. But in every moment we have an opportunity. We're already doing these things. That's why they're meta skills, because they're innate inside of us. They're part of our human intelligence. We don't need to hopefully anybody who's listening to this is like, these are not anything new. These are just words put to a thing that we're already doing. Yeah. And so how do we remember?
That could be another meta skill.
Remembering how do I put all the parts of myself back together? That's, from a somatic perspective, healing and integration, it means the same thing.
Yes.
Integration is just connection.
Yes.
The visual that I get is like, when I sit in meditation and I ask myself, like, what am I really doing? I'm helping restore the human internet.
Describe the human internet.
Yeah, the internet inside of you. Can you remember all of the parts of yourself? Weave the web of yourself back together. If trauma is a disconnect, like something happened and a part of me left, say it's fight, flight, freeze, or you could say it's dissociation, or you could say it activated a defense system that causes me to not be able to feel a certain part of myself. Yeah. That healing is remembering. It's putting all the pieces of myself back together that are already there. It's like the Rumi quote that's like, your task is not to seek to find love, but it's to remove all the barriers that are in the way, because it's already all there.
Yeah.
How do we put it all back together? How do we weave the internet of ourself back together? How do I reconnect to all of the parts of my body, occupy all the parts of my body? It's like yoga, right? Can I run energy just to my big toe? And can I move it separately from my other one? Like, how much choice do I have within my body is how much neuromuscular connection I have, right? That's one aspect of the electrical current that's in you. But then there's all the emotional part, there's the mental part, right? Dan Siegel calls this, in his Mindsight book, it's an integrated mind. People that have psychedelic journeys that have a difficult experience or a bad trip, most of the time it's the people that have really compartmentalized thinking, where religion is over here and sexuality is over here and my career is over here, and they don't talk to each other, right? So when the walls come down from the psychedelic, they start talking, and then they're like, oh shit, how do I connect all of these parts? Oh, this is rearranging my whole reality. But like the internet, restoring people's reconnection, getting them out of the overwhelm of their head and reconnecting to the intelligence of their body, because we're body-based beings first, we're mental beings second. Yeah. And then from there, then we can start to establish the internet between myself and you, myself and my children, myself and my community. And I get this visual of like we're lighting up the human internet that's already there, that in my opinion, the internet that is
well, and
just,
coming back to how we started this conversation around aliveness, that is the property of aliveness.
That's the
that
aliveness,
interconnectedness is what then allows the aliveness within you to feel even more bright and expressed and powerfully harnessed, and then can be channeled into deep aligned action. Right? And that to me is like, and I'm so grateful that you're bringing awareness to these human intrinsic technologies, because I keep coming back to realizing and remembering the more technologically advanced we become, the more valuable it is for each of us to be connected to our bodies. Because this, like, it's almost like there's an ancient intelligence, which is the other AI, versus the artificial intelligence. And I sense there's a probably a brilliant way to integrate both, but I'm feeling deeper. If I had to bet on one, I'm betting on ancient intelligence, because I feel so much that this entire reality that we're creating for ourselves all begins.
It all begins in here.
It begins. Whatever I'm experiencing inside me is actually what gets programmed. It's actually what gets imprinted. It's what gets shared.
We are programming AI right now based on the state of where we're at.
It's a big mirror.
Yeah, it's a big
Even
mirror.
right now, as I use AI for, like, I actually read some study recently that AI therapy is the #1 use.
Therapy is the
of
number
AI
one use right now. It's
right now in the world. #2, I think, was organizing your life. And #3 is what's my purpose. Those are like the 3 reasons that people are using AI.
It's fascinating.
And I'm thinking at this, I'm like, AI has been massively supportive in helping me
100%.
see things, but it's just a mirror. It's a mirror for where I'm at. And depending on how deep I allow myself to go, how much compassion I'm willing to see the person I'm trying to get help from AI for. It's all a function of that. And so the more we start to really come back to the remembrance that everything outside of us is just a reflection of what's happening within, it brings even more weight to the importance of human technologies. Even more importance to the weight of human intelligence and all the things that you're speaking to. And dude, like, I'm so grateful you exist.
Oh, thanks, bro.
I'm like really grateful. No, I'm like super impressed, inspired, grateful that you've devoted so much of your life to teaching people how to awaken these intrinsic qualities and then be able to share that work with others. And so, like, talk to me a little bit about the work you're doing. So it's somatic breath work, but it clearly has different elements of self-inquiry baked into it.
It's all, in my opinion, all healing modalities are a self-inquiry process. Like, it's, if you have a good therapist, they're helping you to go inward to find the answer within yourself. They're asking you the right questions. If you have, like, I look at, if you ever go get body work or massage, which is my background for a long time, is body work. I go get body work to help me become more aware of myself. Like, you've had someone work on you and they press somewhere on your body and you've been like, holy fuck, that's tender over there. Well, you actually didn't know that that was going on inside of yourself. It took another person in their hands to help you self-inquire, to help you become more aware of yourself.
Totally.
And so in a breathwork session, breathwork is a little bit of the wild, wild west right now. Like, there's so many different modalities out there. And in my opinion, there's a lot of dogma in it, but they're all good for different things. But breath is the thing that your life is measured by. When you took your first one, and eventually we'll take our last. It's the only body rhythm that you can do both consciously and unconsciously. It's the bridge between your mind and your body. It's the bridge between it, because it controls your nervous system. Like, right now, when I'm speaking, I don't have to think about my breath. I'm just gonna keep breathing. But we could stop right now and we could actually have choice, right? And it's the thing that creates more choice. It's the thing that creates more free will inside of us. We can't control the external world, but we can control the state of our nervous system, right? Trauma is not the things that are happening to us. It's actually a subjective thing. It's what's happening inside of us based on the thing. It's a response. Stress is the same thing. What's stressful to me might not be stressful to you, based on your level of resilience and your capacity and your inner space. And so, like, with the breath work, I realized that that was the thing that the world was asking for, that gave me an opportunity to apply all of the human skill sets that I was working on. So within it, I can get a little technical. The modality itself is, it's dual, and meaning that I went through so many different modalities, and I'll use the example of body work specifically. Like, a lot of body workers think that if there's tension in your body, like, I just need to release it all. Like, I need to release it. And that's one part of it. But there's also the opposing force, which most of the time I need to activate something as well. Like, I'm gonna have a much easier time releasing something if I actually am connected to it and I can run life force energy into it. Because a lot of the times we have these what's called knots or tension in our body. If the body's so intelligent, why is it creating that? Well, it's most of the time it's creating that for stability or structure, because you're leaning over all the time, and then the body's like, holy shit, we got to build little armies back there to try to keep you sitting up. So you clear all that out all the time, you're working against nature and not with it. So maybe it needs to be cleared out, but then it needs to be activated and embodied and occupied. Yeah. So the same thing, I realized that that same universal principle is inside of your nervous system as well. You, like, for me, let's see how we can explain this. Has anybody ever told you when you're stressed, like, hey, just take a deep breath. Yeah. Just relax.
All the time.
How does that work?
It just pisses me off.
It just pisses you off, right?
So, it used to. Now I just kind of laugh, but it used to piss me off.
It's counterintuitive, but we think that if someone's stressed, that we need to kind of just meditate and take them into a relaxed state. But I can always relax my system better if I have gone fully into it. If I've done a workout, if I've gone and pushed myself, I can sleep better at night if I've exerted myself, if I've activated myself fully.
Yeah.
And so the first half of a session, we're activating actually the sympathetic nervous system. We're turning everything on so that, and a lot of people don't fully understand this, but when you're breathing heavily for an extended period of time, people think you're hyperoxygenating yourself, but you're actually mimicking a state of trauma. Like, if I was being chased by a tiger, how would I be breathing? So, but that can be utilized in a beautiful way, meaning that in a safe container with an empathetic witness, you laying down, we can mimic a state of stress inside of your system where you feel safe enough to complete whatever necessary action your body needed to do in the moment of a stressor, but it never did because you sucked it up. You were taught to suppress. So it's the completion of and this is why emotions come up for people in breath work, is because we're mimicking a state of trauma, not necessarily, we're mimicking a state of stress. And so it's giving your organism an opportunity to complete the necessary action.
Yes.
And so when you're in completion, so sometimes that's a release of emotions. Sometimes that's a physical movement that needed to happen, but you never had the opportunity to do it. Maybe that was like yelling "fuck you" at the top of your lungs, or yelling "no." Like, whatever the necessary action that you're being needed to do in that moment of a stressor, but it never was able to do it. That is the defense system that's now locked inside of you. And so what happens in a breathwork session is during that first half, we're activating, we're taking someone into that, we're giving the organism an opportunity to discharge in the presence of an empathetic witness, and that's where the meta skills come in, where is my beingness, how am I orienting myself to give this person full permission to just go a little bit deeper into whatever the thing that's organic for them.
God, so this is the work that that's the somatic inquiry process. That's
the somatic inquiry process.
Great.
So that's one half of it. We're giving the organism an opportunity to discharge.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times when people have that clearing, which is, you could call it an expression of emotion, you could call it a discharge, you could call it a release. For me, I see that as clearing to become clear. When I go through that process, a lot of times I can't see clearly because I have so much undigested stuff that's inside of me.
Yeah.
I can't see mentally clear because there's so much emotions that are in the way. And so there's this clearing moment to become clear. And then the second half of a session is showing the nervous system, now that we've spiked it and activated it and turned it on fully, how do I bring it back down into the most relaxed state while firing and wiring like elevated emotions? Well, like, because once a being has breaking free from those defense systems and let themselves, they've pushed out their space to be able to occupy sadness or some of the negative emotions, what we call them. Now you've created all this space for you to be able to actually feel good. And let's fire and wire that back into the body while showing the nervous system how to come back down into a relaxed state while being in the presence of another person in safety. And so there's both sides. You know, nervous system regulation is a term that's like just viral right now, and it's everywhere. And most people think that regulation just means that I'm calm all the time.
Yeah.
But regulation doesn't mean that I'm calm. It means I have choice.
You're elastic.
It means that I have choice. It means that I can turn it on and I can show up with energy right here in this podcast, and I can show up with purpose and passion and zest for my life. And then when it's time to go home and be with my family, that I can shut it off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, we have a hard time. We get stuck. We get caught in this ping pong effect where it's like, I'm in the sympathetic state all of the time, and then I don't have choice. Like, I have a hard time shutting it off. And that's usually, the ping pong effect is something else that I'm fascinated by, because it is this balancing between anxiety and depression. And a lot of people are stuck in this this nervous system roller coaster, where if my being is turned on all the time, that's going to be paired with this like hum of anxiety. And then eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to get so tired and burnt out from that I'm going to get swung to the other side, and I'm going to get burnt out, and then I'm going to be put in a forced timeout or a deep rest, or I'm going to become depressed, where I don't have any fire, I don't know how to turn it on, right? So life is a wave, just like our breath, and it's like, do we have choice? Can we turn it on? Can we shut it off?
Beautiful. So these are the types of things that so you teach this inside of the certification that you offer, and then you have practitioners all over the world that offer this as a service for people.
Yes, yeah.
Beautiful, man.
The training has been going on for about 4 years now. We have over about 3,000 practitioners worldwide.
Amazing.
We're fully accredited by Arizona State University for clinicians and people to come get CEUs, which is just so cool. It's like, it's such a sign that the world is, for me, I actually don't even have a bachelor's degree. And I have people with PhDs and doctorates and coming to learn this modality, and it's like, it just showcases that the institutions that are going on right now, like, they don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
And they are making space for what is innate, right? And it's just, it's been such a journey. When I started this, I never had the desire to turn this into a business whatsoever. Like, I'm learning running a team and like like, I'm not an entrepreneurial person by skill set, but I'm learning that aspect. But yeah, we've grown tremendously.
Wow.
Team, massive practitioners, 40 different countries.
And if somebody wanted to go learn about this, where would they go?
Yeah, you could go to somaticbreathwork.com.
Cool.
You could look up Somatic Release on Instagram. If you want to find a practitioner, we have breathworknearme.com. We have all of our practitioners. It's a whole search engine. We have practitioners doing sessions in a multitude of different languages. You can do like sessions on Zoom. You can,
oh my God, this is so good. I'm so stoked. We'll make all of those available in the show notes. And I just want to like reflect, man, like, I really appreciate the emphasis and focus on the human intelligence. Yeah. Like, I see such a obsession over the tools, and an obsession over my tool's better than this tool, and this is the thing. And like, they're all actually leading us back into greater
Yeah.
states of connection. And when we can recognize that the meta skills are actually what matter,
They are what matter. They are
it's
what
like
matter.
it changes the game. So I just appreciate you bringing so much light and awareness, and the way you're teaching this to your practitioners. Like, I can feel the embodiment of it in you, and I'm super stoked to be bros,
dude.
man. I'm
This is our first conversation, really. Let's go.
I'm super stoked. I got one last question for you, my brother. In the midst of everything you're doing, everywhere you've been, and everywhere you're going, how do you stay grounded? And what's one thing you've done over time that's helped you become a more grounded human being?
There's a multitude of different things. I mean, I could say it's like the daily practice of meditation or breath, like, 'cause breath work for me too, it also is an incredible tool to send me into meditation if I have a hard time meditating. And for me, it's having different outlets to express myself. And it's also, actually, like, let me push all that aside. It's finding time to play. I think play is the biggest thing for me. It's almost like it's a radar for where I'm at internally. Like, how easily can I play?
How easily?
How easily can I play? How long does it take me to shift into a state of play? Because then I know I can be fully in my. It's a measurement. It's a diagnostic tool, right?
Beautiful.
So whether it's playing a musical instrument, whether it's like even whatever sort of movement I'm doing, if it's even just in the gym, how can I make it a little bit more playful?
Yeah.
Because that's probably the thing.
Oh, bro. Dude, you're the best. I appreciate you so much. And what a ride, man. Looking forward to more.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to do this again.
Yeah.
We have a lot coming.
We got a swirl happening. But everybody, that's a wrap for this week's episode of Stay Grounded. I'm your host, Raj. This is your new friend, Steven. And from us, stay grounded. We'll chat soon.
Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Stay Grounded. No matter where you're from or what you're going through, I hope it helps you remember just how incredible you are and have always been. If you're on a path of emotional healing or self-discovery and would like to learn how Liberate can support your journey, head to www.rajana.com/liberate. That is LIBER8 to learn more about our current group programs and one-on-one offerings. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.